1, 0. All engine running.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
I am here to discuss the so-called flying saucers. The Air Force interest in this problem has been due to our feeling of an obligation to identify and analyze to the best of our ability anything in the air that may have the possibility of threat.
Just before 9 o'clock this morning in New York, a passenger jet which had taken off from Boston slammed into the World Trade Center. Thick black smoke blotted out the Manhattan skyline.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Esoteric Roundtable podcast, and we know that it's been a minute. So it turns out life is fucking hard, and shit pops up constantly, and, you know, there's not much you can do about it. At first, I was super busy, and then Ben got busy, and then, yeah, we recorded an episode last week, and after a couple days of being really busy, I sat down to edit it, and my microphone was cutting out the entire time. So if you see me speaking directly into your ear canal, I'm sorry. I would really like to avoid this incident. So anyways, today we're going to be talking about a pretty interesting theory. A string of theories, I guess I could say. You might be able to see them here. String theory. But really, they're kind of more fun than anything, in my opinion. You know, I have a lot of fun talking about this kind of stuff, but I don't know how much I actually put into any of it, you know what I'm saying? But what we're going to be talking about is alternate Earth shapes, stuff like that, alternate Earth dimensions, I suppose, any alternate Earth theory. What do you think, Ben?
I think there's a few that I've heard of that are pretty interesting. Hang on, I got to burp.
Oh, not staying in. Not staying in.
It's okay, man. It wasn't but a second. I didn't burp into the microphone. But there's a few theories I've heard of before. I really love the show Big Bang Theory. So obviously in that title, there's the Big Bang Theory, you know, of alternate Earth.
Sacrilegious, by the way, buddy. You're, JC,
yeah, I mean,
be happy about that one.
They say that, dude. I don't even disprove it as like it could be sacrilegious, but I'll get into that more later. Another thing is like you're speaking more on like the creation of the universe, and alternate Earth is not necessarily focused on creation, but alternate forms of Earth. But I do think it plays hand in hand with creation versus science.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot to go on here. Obviously, the Big Bang Theory is like the most popular one, and then you have string theory, which is a lot more complex, but it's pretty interesting. And then Hollow Earth is another one that I've heard a lot of
Hollow
too.
Earth, man. That one's probably my favorite one. That's the one that I kind of lean into. Not so much that I believe it, but if I were to say that I believe any of these, of anything, you know, I guess it would be the Hollow Earth. And now I want to preface this, and I don't want to sound like I'm being like a snarky fucking conspiracy guy where I'm like, I believe in government lizard people, but I don't believe in flat Earth. I don't believe in flat Earth. I don't believe in NASA Earth either. I know that every image they put out is fucking generated and photo edited, and they admit to that if you look at the fine print. I know it's never a straight answer, like Paranoid American says. I get it, you know. I don't trust him. It's started by fucking von Braun and literal Nazi. I understand. I'm just saying it's difficult for me to put stock into any of these because they all kind of drift off into this super duper woo woo, you know.
Yeah.
But I love talking about it.
Well, I had another thought right here, Justin. So this may not play directly into alternate Earth, but I think in a lot of ways it does. At first, when I was thinking of this didn't come to mind. But it popped in here just now, and I'm like, you know, we may not think of this traditionally as alternate Earth, but the theory that we all live in a matrix, I think the
that's
matrix
alternate
theory
Earth
can actually,
for sure.
It is for sure. I just never correlated that until just now, like as that being alternate Earth versus like, oh, we live in a simulated, you know, alternate reality or virtual reality that we know is our lives, but it does play in.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think Matrix That's another one where when I was younger, I
Yeah.
like really played into it a lot more. But honestly, these days for me, Matrix and universe created by a god really are one and the same. You know,
Yeah.
I kind of consider that the same thing to me. But anyways, that's not exactly what we're gonna be. It is, but let's start
Yeah.
off a little slow. We're getting into the real deep right off the back. So I don't know exactly what Ben has that he wants to talk about because he's talking about some real complicated shit. You know what I'm saying? I just came with the real intense, the hard facts, the chat GPT give me 7 fucking alternate Earth theories, and this is what he pulled up.
Yeah.
And I kind of, at first, I was just going to use this as kind of like a reference. But I saw him and I was like, honestly, no, I want to include this because I really like some of these here, and I also like some of its like pseudoscience answers. You know what I'm saying? Like not everything we live in is a theory. Like even you said the Big Bang theory, the fucking theory of gravity, the theory of everything's just a fucking theory. You know, so it's. But
Yeah.
anyways, before I get on my high horse here, I think we could go ahead and start off with the good old most famous flat Earth. But it looked like you had something to say, Ben. You want to chime in first?
Oh, no. I was just thinking, I thought you were going to ask me what my theories were that I had pulled up, but I kind of already covered all that. So let's get started on flat Earth because I do have some
sure,
things
dude.
to talk about regarding that.
Cool. So flat Earth, there's kind of a lot of different variations of flat Earth. So I didn't bother just to choose one, but there's like the flat Earth and the dome. There's also the infinite plane Earth that you see on the screen here. I feel like that's kind of the same thing as flat
Minecraft
Earth.
universe.
It's just flat, super
Yeah.
fucking. You know, what is it called? Super flat or whatever on Minecraft.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
I
kind
just
of.
think of Minecraft where they all like it's infinitely generative now. They don't
Yes.
have the
Oh
boundaries
yeah,
of the
even
Earth.
the normal mode. Yeah, you're
That's what I was
absolutely
thinking
right.
about.
Yeah. So, but either it's still kind of flat. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I consider that together. But what's your thought on the flat Earth, Ben? And I also want to pin this the Christian, the whole firmament thing, and how they say that is proof of the flat Earth and stuff like that. So I'm
So
interested in what you guys
I
say.
am not a flat earther. This just goes basically on me as I can only believe things that I can physically see. I know that's kind of counterproductive by what we are as a podcast, but I've done some world traveling. I've done a lot of flying. I've done a lot of traveling to different continents, states, things of that nature. Flying internationally was the biggest thing for me. Like, there's no way this thing is flat. Mostly because man, you get up, dude. We're 30,000 feet in the air. You're flying over the ocean. You can very clearly see the curvature of the Earth. And then I have some other things that are just funny. There was this flat Earth group who had a Netflix documentary, and they were doing this experiment. I'm sure you've seen this, Justin,
Mm.
where they set up at sea level, so there would be no changes in this, and they set up so many feet away, and they had this big thing that floated on the water, so that way the curvature shouldn't play in if it were. And they had this hole that was like 10 foot in the air, and they had somebody who was pointing a light through it directly, and they had it 10 foot elevated, and it was like, okay, so if you move backward and go back and keep it down, you should see the light through the hole if the Earth is flat. And so they pull back and they shoot it. They was like, we're going to prove it right now. And then no light shines through it. And they said, move it up. And he puts it up, and then the light shines right through. So they proved the Earth was curved while trying to disprove it. I thought it was kind of funny. That's a pretty famous example.
Now, a lot of people, like if you listen to some heavy flat earthers on podcasts and stuff, they'll have explanations for all this shit. And people who really, really believe something sound really believable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm listening to these podcasts and shit. I'm like, God damn, dude. I think the Earth might be flat, and then like I think about it. You know, I'm like, oh wait, no, that's fucking stupid. But again, it's not as stupid as a lot of the shit that we have believed and then turned out to be wrong anyways. But,
yeah. And I will say that, man, I think that's where we toe the line at. A lot of any theory has merit, I believe. Any conspiracy theory, because there's a misconception that this show, at least from my peers, is like, oh, it's all conspiracy theories. Because just to give you a small hint, episode we recorded was music related. The last one that we have to re-record because it failed audio. But I had somebody ask me like, "What, you going to talk about the conspiracy theories and music? Like, what's the music conspiracy theory?" I'm like, it's not conspiracy theories. The issue is that we talk about topics that could be viewed differently from the day-to-day American, the day-to-day human who's, okay, is there something deeper there? Is there something that we're just overlooking? It's not, I think our name describes it best, the Esoteric Roundtable. It's not a conspiracy theory, but anything
It's
with like
just
flat Earth or
information
hollow Earth,
that's a little bit hidden. That's what esotericism is, hidden
that's what I'm
information.
saying. It covers, it does touch in conspiracy theory realm. It does touch in,
But also, the CIA made the term
Yeah.
conspiracy theorist for motherfuckers who were trying to find out what happened to JFK. So if you try to sift out the truth, if you try to sift out the information that the proverbial they keep hidden from you, then they slap on that conspiracy theorist title on you, and that's it, man. Just throw on your tinfoil hat.
But at the same time, man, like any theory, like flat Earth theory, hollow Earth theory, concave Earth, or this applies to any conspiracy theory. Even like hard right-wing, left-wing conspiracy theories that talk about the political realm and stuff, they have some merit that makes them believable. Otherwise, people wouldn't just dive on board and believe it.
Right.
Now, I think you got to toe the fine line of like, hey, this is a very far stretch, or this is very plausible. And I think that over time, when you learn about how our government operates, when you learn about things we've been lied to, you know, like things that we've just been told our whole lives that wasn't true, like the food pyramid is a big one. The food, they're like, oh, you need this many grams of trans fats a day. You need this many grams of carbohydrates. You're saying I should have,
changes every year now, and
you need this many processed grains every day, and then they're like, oh, that's incorrect. They were advised against that. So when you get your eyes open to things of that nature, some of these theories open up more. And I think that's where people get trapped, is they have this eye-opening thing that's like, oh my God, this is not what we've been told, and they go down this rabbit hole, and that's where they start chasing these theories.
For it so hard when I first started getting into this realm, the alternate theory, the conspiracy realm, whatever you would like to call it. I found myself falling for like everything. Like I sent my cousin like so many fucking Tartaria paragraphs. I go back and I read them now, and I'm pretty sure he probably thought I was having like a schizophrenic fucking episode or something, because it just, I just fell for it so hard. I don't want to say that Tartaria was completely untrue, but a lot of the shit they're saying about Tartaria can be proven untrue, you know, or just if you use thought, or if you just look back a little bit in time, and of course then, well, they just changed the history and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So but I see exactly what you're saying. You really have to put your mind to these things and really think about it, you know. And a lot of people, I don't want to say, are like, you're just looking for a friend group or something like that, but really, as humans, we look for something to latch on to, something that gives us purpose and meaning, and sometimes that purpose is proving the libs wrong or whatever the fuck it may be, you know what I'm saying? But it creates an alternate personality of you when you let that, and you know, a little hint to the episode we didn't get to publish, but that to me is kind of what selling your soul to the devil is when you let stuff like that take over your mind, and then you're no longer the person that you were before, you know.
I agree, man. And like I said, towing the line, dude, is the biggest thing. Like, I want to get as close as I can, which is why I tell everyone else, like, I am a logical person. I've mentioned this in the episode before, which is why when we did our episode with Juan and everything, it's like, oh, some of the things I might believe in would be called fake and gay. But at the same time, like, I'm a logical person. Unless I can be disproven, I look for it. I look at things like this. It's like, I look for the opportunity. I go into everything with an open mind. But at the same time, there has to be very strong evidence that convinces me of this, or I'm going to go with somewhere in the middle. It's probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've mentioned this before on the show, that we love to talk about the extra crazy shit, the extra woo-woo, and then we like to talk about the complete normal explanation. That's why we like to go to fucking not WikiLeaks, what's it called, Wikipedia, and check stuff like that, because we want to hear the normal explanation too, because the truth is always in the middle of those two things. It's not the fucking super duper woo-woo. It's not the super duper plain Jane, open your textbook, find the answer. It's
Yeah.
somebody lied about something, so we have this, you know?
Yeah. And flat Earth, man, like my intro to flat Earth was one of our friends. I won't mention his name. Justin knows who I'm talking about already.
Yeah,
This dude, when he gets an opinion, he will stand on it by himself
Yes.
and die on it, and you can't change his mind.
Yes.
And so he was really big on the flat Earth at one point, and it's funny. I don't discredit him for it, but he would always try to argue me flat Earth. But all he could pull up, which is funny because we use this as a source all the time, is Wikipedia. He would pull up a Wikipedia article and be like, "See, I told you it was true." I'm like, "Bro, that's open source literature. It's not."
Yeah. We use that as like a base to start conversation. You know, we joke about it. This is our secret research thing.
Yeah.
We use it as a base of information,
Yeah.
like a base of conversation, so we have something to
Yeah.
bounce off of to disprove.
No, that was
whatever
his
we
gospel.
may want. Right. So we try not to use it as saving grace. Not to say that I've never used Wikipedia to get an answer. You know what I'm saying? Especially at school, even though that was like a fucking sin. But
which then again, man, I think Wikipedia even falls into the realm as like, man, people will discredit Wikipedia but believe everything PolitiFact, fact checks,
Facebook,
and everything. Like, oh, they said this was disproven fact check. That must be exactly true. I'm going with the fact check.
Right. As if we don't know the fact check organizations are paid off by the
or biased,
like,
oh, they don't have a bias,
you know.
But at the same time, man, like he kept bringing up like the flat Earth theory, like, oh, you know, you can't go to the North Pole, you can't. And that may be true. I don't know, bro.
Dude, they talk about that. They say you can't go to the poles, and they talk about the treaties, and there are treaties here. Let me pull that up. Actually, I want to. Let's use our super secret.
And just to clear, I'm not making fun of this individual. Like, this was just my memory of it, and it's a funny memory for me. I'm not making fun.
What did I say I was going to Google? God damn it, I completely forgot.
The treaty agreements.
Right. Yeah, so the countries did come together and they made this treaty, the Antarctic Treaty System, in 1959.
Mm-hmm.
I just, you know what I'm saying?
That was his basis for saying that the flat Earth was definitive. And I was like, I just don't get that from that, you know?
And you know, they came together and they did sign that, and it is weird. People say
I'll
that you can walk it. There's a guy that's came out and said that he did it. I'm pretty sure he went on Joe Rogan. I don't really know. I have a feeling personally that there are restricted places, but that's from my distrust of governments. So I think there is something there. I think there is something there. And maybe even it's where the lizards fucking keep the lizards. I mean, the elites, the proverbial they, whatever you'd like to call it.
Adrenochrome.
I like to call them I think maybe that's where they keep their big like fucking villain layer or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to where like everybody is like the Democrats and the liberals and the conservatives or the communists and the capitalists, whatever, but this is where they all like meet up and party and like probably do weird eyes wide shut shit.
That's the real Bohemian Grove.
Exactly. That's where like the real people bang out, is the places where you just can't go, like the fucking the polls. So it's probably something like that if there is anything there. Yeah. The Admiral Byrd story is fucking awesome. I love it. It's another one of those, like, I absolutely love the Admiral Byrd story, Operation High Jump, where the United States and a bunch of fleets of the Navy fleets and Air Force fleets too. I believe it was the South Pole. It may have been the North. But they were on a training expo or whatever, and apparently Admiral Byrd is who led it. And his kids apparently found in his diary after he died that he saw Nazis flying UFOs, and they got in a
I've
big.
heard this before.
Yeah, the big.
Didn't Joe Rogan have something about this?
Probably. I fucking love it. I love stories of fighting Nazis, man. Sign me up. And UFO Nazis on that? I mean, come on. Do I put any merit into it? I don't know, man. No, I can say that no, I do know. No, I do not put any merit into it. But
I'll say this though, man. Like, I do find it weird that only, like, as far as I know, only like approved scientific projects and research can happen in Antarctica. I don't know about the North Pole. I know the South Pole being Antarctica.
Now these a large portion of these places when it says like unlivable, unsustainable, like you can't be there. You will die. It's
Yeah.
too cold. It's a cold that we've never felt, like the
They
absolute
say
zero
that
or
though,
whatever.
man. But
Yeah,
they
that
have
is true. That is true. Maybe that's the the lizard people lying and making that up. That could be 100%
yeah, they
true.
say
I
that,
forgot
and
we're
then
on a
there's
fucking conspiracy
scientists.
podcast here, Ben. I gotta
Yeah.
wake
Dude,
me up, Ben. Wake me up, bro.
here's my
Get me
deal, man. Is
woke.
they say it's unlivable, uninhabitable, but there's scientists that stay out there for 2 and 3 years and have entire food courts and
Yeah, dude,
have
and
food shipped in, and they live.
they got the videos, but you know what? That could be staged, bro. They staged a whole fucking
Yeah,
moon landing. They could stage a
yeah,
couple fucking
I say
videos
that,
of
but I
Antarctica.
look at it at this. I look at Antarctica how I look at Area 51. Area 51
There's
is restricted
aliens.
area.
Oh my
There's
God,
aliens.
there's Nazi aliens, dude. You're
There's
right,
Nazi aliens.
Dude, Admiral Byrd was real, dude. Well, I mean, he was definitely real. He has a website. The Nazi aliens, Admiral Byrd thought were fucking real, dude.
Now,
You
this
got
might
me
seem
there,
kind of
yeah.
like off topic, but I've heard this tied into flat Earth, which is why I'm bringing it up. The pole thing.
Yeah.
This is where I first heard about the pole treaty, the
Oh,
treaty
yeah.
of the poles,
Mhm.
but was through the flat Earth
She
theory.
treated
But like
my
I said,
pole.
yeah. At the same time, though, man, like I've done world travel. Like I can only believe so much as what I can see, and until I'm really shown something that makes it hard to not believe, like my view on, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, but 9/11, like
Mm.
Justin changed my mind and perspective on that. And now I have a different view on it. I'm not discrediting what happened that day or the terrible acts that
Right,
cost
it
people
doesn't
their
make
lives.
it any less horrible.
But yeah, the whole reason why I say that is from the perspective of a flat Earth is I've been disproven on things before that now I have a different view on. But until I'm truly, like with great evidence, disproven on believing the Earth is round, I just can't. Not do I believe it's like how Neil deGrasse Tyson explains it. He says the Earth is such a perfect sphere that if you shrunk it down to the size of a pool cue, it would be the most spherical object to ever exist. The most
Didn't
perfectly
they already
round object.
disprove that? Isn't the Earth like egg shaped?
They say that
Even
they
by
say that.
official standards, dude. And you know what? Fuck Neil deGrasse, the
deGrasse
fucking
Tyson, yeah.
whatever his fucking name is, fucking bluegrass. Fuck that guy, dude.
Nah,
Fuck
he's
that guy.
interesting sometimes.
Yeah, he's interesting.
some of
Dude.
the
He can
things-
talk well. He can that's just
Yeah.
like every fucking
how it is.
lizard person. They got the silver fucking tongue, dude.
But
Fuck
he
that
has
guy,
he's
dude.
on that soapbox like how Stephen Hawking was. Like he's an astrophysicist, and Stephen Hawking was a theoretical physicist who studied the cosmos. But
Yeah, well, he also liked to watch midgets do math problems.
yeah, here's my deal, bro. Is like we talk about these astrophysicists. They've never been to space. Stephen
Dude,
Hawking never been to space.
That
He never did go
motherfucker,
to
he
space.
couldn't make it out. He did. He had
Unless
something
he was
come up.
astral projecting, like being
Oh.
binaural. He was in there being binaural.
Dude, Steven listening to the Monroe tapes, dude.
Yeah, dude. In
Oh
there.
my god. Oh my god, the shapes. I'm blasting off.
Yeah, in astral realm. Maybe that's why he was the way he was. But like Neil deGrasse, you see all these, man. Like, but then again, dude, like, have you ever seen the clips of like Buzz Aldrin and
Dude,
Neil
they
Armstrong?
act funny, bro. And they're
Dude, but
alcoholics.
have you ever seen them be like questioned about the moon landing? They will get like
And they
violent.
get violent, dude. Did you see it when they fucking came back and they landed? We need to do a moon landing episode so we can show
Absolutely.
all this shit. I need to write that down.
There's too much.
But we need to. But if you look at the footage of when they came, dude, it looks like they're being fucking held hostage, and they just got out of the quarantine or whatever. But like they're like tapping their pen, they're scared to look at people, and like they're
I've
they're
seen
freaked
that.
out. They're scared, dude. They're scared
Yeah.
to say something that they because they're fucking they didn't go
You know the thing
nowhere,
that-
bro.
The thing that sets me off with like the whole thing is like they were like, oh, we're limited space, but it's a camera angle from outside of the spaceship showing them getting out of the spaceship. I'm like, did they land a second spaceship there to get out? Like, and
Pans
show them?
perfectly to them as
They had a whole-
fucking-
Yeah, they had a whole
leave.
dune bug. How did they get a dune buggy on the moon?
Dude, they're out there playing golf. These motherfuckers are out there playing golf, dude. It's not real, dude.
I
Imagine
mean-
being the guy that gets credited with having to stay in the ship and your fake fucking thing anyways. Like, oh guys, we're already lying. Can I get a cool roll? Like, no, you get to stay in the ship. Nobody knows your name, fucking dumbass.
What's funny is they broadcasted it live on television. My dad's like, it was live on television. They showed it. I'm like, oh, so they're sending the signal from the moon
So
And
from the moon,
1960s.
dude, to a TV, and then they were recording the television. The recording of the television is what America saw, not the live feed, dude.
Yeah.
Because
They make
you
it out
probably
like it
see
was
the
live.
fucking the fish wire dangling and shit. You saw the normal TV, dude, of the fucking model set that they had built up.
We saw the edited Zapruder tape of the moon landing. Like
Yeah,
the
dude,
JFK
Buzz Aldrin's
Zapruder
head
tape.
fucking exploded.
we saw the edited Zapruder tape of the moon landing. Is what
Yeah,
we
no,
see.
seriously, no, definitely, yeah, no, 100%.
But dude, we look at that, and then you see where India claimed they had landed on the moon like a few months back, and it looked like something out of like a Windows 95 paint like
Dude,
thing.
I don't
India's moon landing, dude, cracked me up because I'm like, man, it's really not that far off from the moon landing we claim we had in the 60s.
Can we fucking, and people, I don't. I feel like there's a lot of like anti-Indian people shit on social media. So I've been off social media now for a few weeks, and by the way, it has been going fucking fantastic, people. If you can separate yourself from social media, please do it. But I just remember before I got off, it seemed like for a while just everything you see about an Indian person was a negative, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like living up in Northern California, anywhere that I've had any experience with Indian people, they're the coolest fucking people ever.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
not
dude.
like fucking mean and stinky or whatever people say. They're just fucking chill, normal people. And if you wanted me to stereotype, I don't care. But typically hardworking too. Sorry for stereotyping people as being hardworking, but
I've never met a
you
broke
never
Indian
fucking
person.
you never see them bumming on the street or anything.
I've never seen it, bro. They're
Yeah, but
hustling.
anyways,
in their country, they're selling street food. They're doctors in the States.
going
They own
hard.
gas stations.
that's what
they
I'm
own
saying. They're
hotels.
like, dude, I work at a fucking hospital, dude. The highest paid
Yeah.
people in my hospital are Indian people. I'm
Indian.
sorry, you know. What
They
I'm
are
saying?
hustlers, bro. That's the
So-
stereotype as breadwinners, bro. But there is a lot of negativity about Indian people. I don't know how
So
we got on this
I
topic,
don't
but
want
on
no because of
Instagram.
their moon landing because of their moon
landing,
landing.
yeah.
So I don't want to say that I'm shitting on their moon landing because I think that they're dumb, stinky, whatever the
I
bad
don't think that at all,
stereotypes.
yeah.
Because I think they are just fucking. You know what I'm saying? They're great. They didn't land on the fucking moon, bro. They didn't land on the fucking moon, bro.
That was in
all
Roblox,
of that,
brother.
all of that to say, they did not land on that fucking moon, bro. I know
They had their
fucking
tech support
peeking my
make
mic
that
out.
one, dude.
Yeah, dude. That shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
Well, I thought we should maybe move on to a different Earth theory here. I feel like we've been
only
on
thing I
flat
was
Earth
talking
for a
about-
minute.
I think flat Earth was there because like the moon landing tied into that. But like I can only go based on my experience. When I flew, the Earth had curvature very obvious. I've never seen the end of it, which I'm like that. But that can't disprove the infinite Earth.
That is,
You know.
yeah. But
I can't disprove that.
Yeah, or what about just like bigger Earth? Like there's the theories that we're just on a little like sectioned off piece, and then
Yeah.
past the ice wall or whatever it may be, there's actual larger, like normal or bigger civilizations, and that's why we have like UFOs flying in, is because they're fucking
I'll say
checking on
this,
us. Or,
This is what I'll say. I know for a fact I can leave my house and head east. And if I keep going east, I'm going to hit the Atlantic Ocean. And if I get on a boat and continue heading east, I'm going to hit Europe and Africa. And then if I continue heading that way, at some point I'll hit Australia or Japan. And then I'll go back around through the Pacific Ocean, go through California, come back down through, hit California, make land, go all the way through the States until I get back to where I'm at right now. That's just, I know I can do that.
you know for a
I've
fact.
flown it.
You know for a fact. You haven't. You didn't sleep. You didn't read
I
a
didn't
book. You
sleep
were
on that
looking out the
airplane.
window the entire time. You didn't see any portals. You didn't see any Nazi
dude,
UFOs.
It would be really cool to see a Nazi
Ben, so when did
UFO
the
or a
lizards
portal.
buy you off, bro?
They're not, bro. I can only play on this. I know I can go east and get to the Atlantic Ocean. I can go west as far as I can go on land and reach the Pacific Ocean, and they connect. And on the other side of that is Europe, Africa, Russia, Asia, all of it. You know.
So, I mean that pretty much that wraps up your theory on there on
My
any
theory.
alternate Earth, then right there.
no, not necessarily.
Now,
It doesn't
yeah,
wrap
I
it
mean,
up on Hollow
it still
Earth.
could be programmed. It still could be Matrix Earth. But yes, Hollow Earth. I really want to talk about that one. That if we ever, even if we don't touch any other ones after, because Hollow Earth is the one that I feel like is genuinely like actually possible. Um, maybe not. The whole mud flood thing and that kind of goes into Tartaria as well, because that's apparently why the Earth is so hollow. All the mud came out. I don't know where it went after. I guess actually it's solidified into the ground that we're on. Either way, I don't really believe in that, and the whole like sun in the middle of the earth thing, that's a lot. But what I do genuinely know, I've been in a cave system, a huge cave system in Kentucky, and near me on a vacation. I know that there's caves all over the world that are just huge. I know there's caves that we know of that we have never seen the end of, that we just can't. We can't get to the bottom. We can, you know what I'm saying? I don't find it impossible that maybe it's not a completely hollow earth, but there are large crevices that a species that was I mean, we have I'm of the opinion that we have been here many of times. We've done this over and over and over and over again, and I believe the smartest of the groups, the batches of humans, figured out what was going on, and they could have went down into the caves, man, into the earth. The Hopi people talk about the ant people that came out from the caves and told them about the what we believe to be the Younger Dryas 12,000 years ago, or around 12,000 years ago. I don't think it's super duper far fetched that previous civilizations of humanity, especially like the smartest of the smart in terms of survival, went down, because we're smart in terms of making like fucking bombs and faking moon landings, but we're not smart in terms of if there's a rocket coming, we're just going to try to like hate speech it or something, like, so, or cancel it.
I mean, bro, we can't even
I
build
think Hollow
pyramids.
Earth is pretty legit.
Yeah, another thing, man, I was thinking of this too, is like, if the pole treaty, if we're saying there's something going on at the poles, like that could also play into Hollow Earth. Like,
Yeah,
what
that's
if
for
that's
the
the
entry
entrance?
holes. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah,
we're talking about all these caves.
That's a very big belief, and it also kind of goes into the missing 411 stuff. A lot of people correlate that. I don't know if you know what that is, but missing 411 is where people go into like woods or just secluded areas and then disappear without a trace, and then a lot of times they reappear in places that have already been searched in circumstances that are really unexplainable. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google missing 411 and you'll find a billion results about it. But a lot of people think, maybe they just walk too close to some fucking cave entrance or something, and they got swooped down. Because I mean, if good smart people made it into the caves, bad smart people also have made it into the caves, probably. You know what I'm saying? So there's gotta be like asshole trolls that live under there. And, hopefully there's also good ones that live under there. Have you ever, I know you're not a big anime guy, but Hollow Earth really reminds me of Gurren Lagann. And now I really want to go back and watch that.
Oh. I just found a book on the Library of Congress website. It's called The Hollow Globe, or The World's Agitator and Reconciler. It was written by Professor W.M.F. Lyon. And just looking at like some of the chat, it's a very good scan of the
Send that to our Discord, please. And
I
by the way,
sent it to
that's
you
a shout out
privately.
to the Discord. Shout out, put it in the book club section of the Discord. We have a lot of cool stuff in there. Come hang out.
Yeah, I'll come. I'll put that in there later, because I sent you page 9 specifically for some reason.
Do you want me to open that up?
You can. You don't have to show it. Yeah, I was just looking at, like, if you go to page 9, it shows some of the like contents. It has like chapter 1, scraps of history. So history works out its own development, an event of prophetic of its successor, condition of Europe when America was discovered, and then it goes down. Let's see, chapter 2, the open polar sea.
And what is this again, if you don't mind?
It's the name of it is called the Hollow Globe, or the World's Agitator. and reconciler. It's by Professor W.M.F. Lyon. So if you look at the table of contents right there, you can zoom in on that image. If you scroll down a little bit.
It's
right?
not. Let me get it on recording here. All right, go ahead, Ben. My bad, brother.
So if you're looking at the contents right there, like chapter 2 is called the Open Polar Sea, and it mentions a few things. It's like the Kuroshio or warm current of the Pacific. So something about a temperate climb at the polar sea. Insufficient reasons offered by scientific men. Gulf Stream and its wonders. I don't know how to say that last thing. Causes productive of the open polar sea local. The next one's like ingenious theory. Let's see. Chapter 4 talks about volcanoes. Chapter 5 is earthquakes, and then material and spiritual forces. So this seems to be like a whole explanation of the Hollow Earth theory, but in a book form. This was written
nice.
in.
Yeah, we need to read that.
This book was written in 1875 by Sherman and Lyon in Chicago. It was published in 1875. So this is like 10 years post Civil War. Yeah, it's
we'll
Library of
definitely have to check
Congress.
that out, and we'll have to see. Maybe we can do an episode coming back and do a full touch on just Hollow Earth itself, or maybe have someone on to talk about it with us or something like that.
Yeah, this is just something I found while we were talking about Hollow Earth.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's see here. We did Flat Earth. We did Hollow Earth. I mean, those two are like the biggest ones, at least.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've said it on this episode even, we want to talk about the most woo-woo, the most crazy, and then also the most plain Jane, the most lizard person answer, because it's typically in the middle. And I feel like that's kind of what Hollow Earth is, in my opinion. It's not flat Earth that we can, like Ben said, just go east and prove it wrong. It's not NASA lie Earth, where it's just a fucking bunch of bullshit lies, you know what I'm saying? And we'll have to do an episode on that, because I know I just sound like a fucking dumbass. That damn NASA people fucking. So I'm right. Yeah, we'll do episodes, people. All right, listen, I don't want to speak a bunch of shit. But anyways, so again, I feel like right in the middle would be a Hollow Earth. Yeah, to some extent, you know what I'm saying?
There's a few other theories, man. Let's touch on some of the actual physics theories and the scientific theories, like the Big Bang theory.
Absolutely.
But the one I find interesting is string theory. And just a definition of string theory, and Wikipedia, our source of knowledge, our super secret source, says in physics, string theory is a theoretical framework in which the point-like particles of particle physics are replaced by one-dimensional objects called strings. String theory describes how these strings propagate through space and interact with each other. On distance scales larger than the string scale, a string looks just like an ordinary particle, with its mass, charge, and other properties determined by the vibrational state of the string. In string theory, one of the many vibrational states of the string corresponds to the gravitation, a quantum mechanical particle that carries the gravitational force. Thus, string theory is a theory of quantum gravity. So it seems to me like I could just be a real big dummy, because this stuff kind of goes over my head a little bit. But a string theory would kind of discredit the existence of an atom, or it's saying that atoms, in its essence, like create these strings, and that we're all fabricated from vibrational strings, and that's how we know each other. Like,
isn't
that's how
that
we see
kind of what an atom is?
Does, yeah.
Isn't that kind of what the explanation of what we are already is?
Yeah, but dude, it's a complicated one that they've never proven. It's a very popular theory, but it's theoretical physics. It's not true.
Right.
But it blows my mind that people can make, $80,000 to $100,000 a year or more as a professor in physics teaching about a theoretical. Well, it's theoretical reality. It's like, oh, I'm teaching this. It's truth. But those same theoretical physicists also say, well, evolution is 100% real, and if you don't believe it, you're stupid. But it's a theory.
Right. And the whole and they say, well, that we can find past species and stuff. But I mean, if you look at some religious text or mystic text, there are other species, and there was tests, what.
Yeah.
But anyways, no, I agree with you 100%. I
don't know.
think the one I think with string theory or whatever, I kind of piece that together with maybe just like an addition. I don't know. I guess I'm too stupid to wrap my head around that one as well. You know what I'm saying? I think we'd probably need like a genius on here to try to explain that.
So, okay, according to this, it goes, do atoms exist? No, say string theorists. Particles actually are minuscule strings or membranes that vibrate in space. Each particle would represent a different mode of vibration of the strings, much as a single guitar string can create many notes. The forces of nature would arise from the harmonies of the interacting strings. The confusing thing to me is, man, is like, okay, if you're gonna believe in science any at all, like you've heard of a electron microscope, they've captured images and been able to sort and organize atoms through an electron microscope to make them spell out things or dance or make figurines. Like, we've seen an atom.
Yeah,
We know what an atom is made of.
I feel like what they're trying, that almost sounds like the whole like the world is the one note or whatever of God, or the God's voice is the world or something, because it almost seems like it's just energy or tones kind of solidified into or at least maybe not solidified, but made into a way where the universe can experience it. That kind of goes into the whole where the universe experiencing itself. So I get where it's coming from, but it also just sounds like somebody is tripping balls when they write something like that, because it sounds based in what we already...
Dude, there are physicists who devote their careers to this theory. God. It is that big. Devote their entire careers to studying string
we're in
theory.
the wrong profession, bro. We need to start grifting. We need to start grifting, Ben. Seriously. We need to learn to grift, bro. We need to hit up NASA. We need to hit up big academia. We need to hit up big ophthalmology. We need to ask these motherfuckers how to grift. Because I'm tired of actually being honest and working and then just getting shit on while these guys just talk about strings and music. And yeah, man, the world is just like these strings and they're like guitar strings, but like you can't see them. And some of the students like, hey, do you mean an atom? Yeah, no,
it's not an atom.
Because this thing is shaped like a string. Yeah, dude, I got it, dude. I want to do that. And then to be the guy to be like, hey, I'm Mr. NASA, man. Here's this picture of Earth. And it's a complete real picture that he took from NASA. And they're like, hey, why in the bottom corner does it say that it was touched up by this person to make it look like a certain... No. It's this is the real picture. I don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, yeah, well, we edited a little bit. Because
they just added a Snapchat filter.
We just wanted it to look cool for you. We're just Daddy's so helpful for you, aren't we?
Another thing I think about, dude. If string
and
theory
Neil
was
deGrasse
real,
Tyson, dude.
If string theory was real, though, man, that would only play, in my opinion, it makes the hemisync tapes even more real.
Ben, we need to do it, dude. We need to fucking do the hemisync,
But
dude.
if everything is influenced by like the vibration of a string, that would explain a lot with how hemisync tapes could manipulate your emotion.
I don't really that is another thing that I really could get behind. And I know what you're saying about the atoms and everything, and I know we're kind of shitting on it, but I do see what they're saying. But I think it really just could be a different explanation for atoms.
Yeah.
How I'm like, it really is just the one note of source or whatever, and they are harmonizing at a different frequency, so the universe experiences them as different things. It experiences it as the bed behind you or your nose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I had another thought as well, man. So we talk about, I've mentioned this before, dude. Like the chip I have on my shoulder with is that a lot of these scientists, man, or these physicists, or these really intelligent people, their belief is that always there cannot coexist a belief in a godlike entity and science. But the more you look into this, man, it's like, okay, if string theory is real, if the atom is really what constructs all of this, man, it seems hard for me to believe that this is a mathematical coincidence, that we're all here by chance, that we evolved from animals in which had to evolve from particles to begin with that came from a big bang. It seems all too well put together, and the intricacies of how we live, our central nervous system, our respiratory system, how we're able to live, and our blood types are even specific. Our DNA is unique.
That's
That
another
there was
thing
no
I've
creator.
brought up on another episode is, aren't we just so fucking lucky, man? We just got lucky,
Yeah.
Ben. We just got lucky with that. We just got lucky with the Earth being the
That's just how I
this
feel about
distance
it.
from the sun. We just got lucky with the moon being exactly
Yeah.
the size it is, and exactly how far away, and the math is exactly the 4 times this and 4 times that, this and fucking. We're just so lucky, dude. Lucky us, bro.
But
Thank
it's all
God.
evolution.
Isn't it? Wouldn't it be so fucking easy if you could go to work every day and then like just spout shit, and then when somebody's like, "Hey, explain that, dude. What how does that work?" And you just got lucky.
Yeah. No, what you do
Just
is you
got
just
lucky,
bust
dude.
out an advanced calculus equation and then confuse everyone and make them feel like they're way dumber than you
Just
are. And
got
you're like,
lucky.
oh, look at this calculus. It explains it all perfectly. Look
Yeah.
at this advanced mathematical theory from Mr. Newton, who
Yeah, from
found all
fucking
this
Neil
out from an
deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, from Isaac Newton, who figured all this out from the drop of an apple on the ground,
Yeah,
And
dude.
meanwhile, I take the sticker and stick it on my forehead. When
Yeah,
I get
dude.
an
I'm gonna
apple.
throw an apple at these fucking nerds, dude.
Yeah, dude. And they're like, oh, we figured all of this out. All of our construct and knowledge of the cosmos and the universe and gravity and how we're here all came from Isaac Newton's apple that fell from the tree.
Yeah, dude.
I just,
Isn't
bro,
that so
to me,
easy, bro?
Is it
We just got lucky.
is it
We
that
just got
far
lucky to
fetched
be
for
sitting
me to
under that
believe in
tree.
a creator than it is to believe that, oh, all these particles came together, heated up, expanded, exploded, and then we just came from that?
Yeah.
I just
We
don't
just got
find it.
lucky,
I think
dude.
it's possible. I just think it's terrible to discredit the fact that you say, oh, science and God cannot coexist. I disagree. I think it's more or less like they have to exist together.
100%.
God or a godlike, and they have
It's
to
just
coexist.
the explanation of how it was made. I mean, it goes
Yeah.
over. It gets like a few lines. The creation of the universe and the whole Bible. I mean, it just gets a few. Even if it's not the Bible and other beliefs and stuff, they don't spend 30 years explaining the creation of the universe. They don't have to, man.
Yeah.
Hey, God said it. And there it fucking was. But there's
Do you
still an
think-
explanation of how these things came to be. You know what I'm saying?
I almost joked and said, do you think God ever thought about the fact that there would be nerds on Earth like, oh, we're going to figure out exactly everything that took place with creation?
Yeah,
I'm sure he
dude.
did. He gave us, if like I believe God is real, but me is like,
Well,
God had
Eve-
to have known that we were going to have that curiosity, that thought.
He
but it's
he
always gonna
didn't
leave
know
us
at
lingering.
first, dude, but then Eve did that fuck shit, and then he was thinking about it after, and he's like, "Oh, dude, they're gonna make nerds, and they're gonna be furries. Oh no, why did I do that? I should have just kept the angels, dude."
My simple thing was this, man, is like, obviously, like we have an esoteric table, like round table. We have discussions of these things that are a little deeper than your average, office talk, with your coworkers or
Mhm.
whatever. We're more worried about politics and, oh my God, is this hurricane going to hit us? Which is very terrifying to think about where I live. But man, you have all this that clouds your mind, and then you're like, at the end of the day, these scholars are like, oh, well, yeah, what you believe, you're a moron if you believe that there's a God or that creation.
They don't want you to believe your eyes, bro. They don't want you to believe yourself and your heart and your actual genuine, like,
Yeah.
your common sense of thinking. It's being eliminated, bro. They want you to believe what the book says. And if you ask what the book says, they're like, fucking dumbass, dude.
I find it
No
more
explanation.
I just find it easier to say that we came from a creator than that we came from all of these circumstantial things just taking place. And I mean, this is kind of taking a turn from alternate universe, but when you talk about like alternate Earth or Earth as it is, man, like the topic of a creator has to come up. I feel.
No, 100%. No,
It's impossible.
I think we're
But-
very on topic.
And with that, man, it's like, is it just coincidence that we evolved from these tadpoles that became frogs, that became monkeys, that gained opposable thumbs, and then
on this note, do you think that that any of these findings of previous humanoids are real at all, like
Neanderthals? I do believe, yeah, potentially.
Like
I
the
won't say
little
that
hobbit fuckers that they found on that island, stuff like that.
Yeah. So here's the deal, man. It's like, I don't disbelieve in evolution. I believe in evolution. I believe evolution is real. I believe we evolve over time to adapt to our climates and our surroundings. I do not believe that we evolve from a completely different species into another species
Right.
grow. Like, dude, I don't believe that any species can evolve over time to grow entire new bone structures. Like,
Yeah.
a fish without jaws who just had, a hinge on the outside that had to suck in to open his mouth, or blow out to open his mouth and suck in to close it, all of a sudden popped up one day with a set of jaws and was like, oh, this
Ben,
is cool.
You're not considering the fact that he got lucky.
Yeah.
We're just
But my
lucky,
deal
dude. That's gonna
is
be
like,
the second half of this podcast. The name is gonna be fucking alternate Earth / we just got so lucky, or we're so lucky.
I mean, issue with evolution, dude, is I find it harder to believe whenever you have these gaps. It's like, oh, we evolved from this fish, but this one now has jaws. And I'm like, where did those jaws come from? How did we evolve to grow bones?
Yeah, I think about that too. What is the one guy that like was born with the jaw? You know what I'm saying? Now, if we have a kid born and they got an extra appendage, they'll cut that motherfucker off, dude. What if we stopped it? What if we stop? What if we're supposed to be birds by now, dude?
I'll put it this way, man. Like, I believe in evolution to the in the more simple version. So like, you have certain dogs. One dog can live in a very hot climate, and he adapts to living like that. He may shed fur. And then you have a dog that lives in a very cold climate. Like, you have these huskies in Alaska, Alaskan huskies. They have a much thicker pelt. Or you have some wolves that they would have a darker coat if they live somewhere where it doesn't snow a lot, because they adapt to their environment. Or if you have dogs or wolves that live in a very snowy climate, they may become white or light gray, and it helps them adapt and survive. Or even you take Darwin's theory. Darwin's initial manifesto that he wrote when he visited these islands, he studied finches.
Maybe don't
finches
call it a manifesto. That's taking
whatever it is.
tone.
Yeah, manifesto is different, but I was trying to find the term there. Hang on.
No, I was just that's taking a different tone nowadays. You can't say
Yeah.
manifesto without Darwin was a neo-Nazi or something.
Yeah, but I mean, you have Darwin's initial writings, his journals, and he's studying these finches. I believe in evolution and the extent that, like, oh yeah, their beaks may be sharper if they're pecking through dirt to get to bugs, but their beaks may be shorter and duller if they're pecking rocks all day long. Hint, because rocks are dull, and when you're pecking sharp things on dull objects, very hard dull objects, yeah, your beak's going to get dull and shorter. It's not going to be as long. It's the same as if I took my fingernail and scratched it against a rock for 100 days. It's going to be rubbed off.
Yeah,
I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I believe in evolution to that. And also, like, these Neanderthals, like, they were barefoot all the time. We developed calluses on our feet. They're walking across all these rocks. They had no shoes. They're wearing bear pelts. They have thicker hair, but they're living in colder climates. Like, yeah, I believe.
So do
we
you think
evolved
that
in that
these
aspect.
were like fallen angels, or they were one link closer to these times, or were they just completely separated from the Abrahamic faith? They were just the run before we got to where we are, and God had nothing
Here's
to
the
do
deal.
with them.
Is the Bible also talks about giants, being in the promised land.
That is a good
So
point.
you have these Nephilim that we talk about, these Nephilim are these giants who, and the book of Enoch, which was, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, it's not in the canon of the actual King James Version or any modern version of the Bible we use, but the book of Enoch is the first book of Enoch would be the most regarded. The second two, like the second and third book, are like, they don't really know who wrote them.
Yeah.
And there's not much credibility there because they think it could be written by different people and all just claim to be part of the same story. So there's some questioning there. But the book of Enoch talks about like fallen angels who sleep with man and conceive children, and then comes like these Nephilim or these demigod type figures. I think it's very interesting. It makes for a really cool story. But as far as these giants, man, like, I mean, they found the bones of giants. We know that giants did at some point exist. Like, they had David and Goliath, the 9-foot tall Palestinian man.
Was Goliath just a Palestinian guy?
Yeah, the Philistines. Philistines would have been
dude, I need
Palestinians.
to fucking read these. I need to read these books, dude.
Just read the Bible, bro.
Yeah,
like,
dude, I know
you can trace.
I don't want any spoilers or anything. It's only, it's kind of a
here's
newer
the thing,
book,
dude. Biblically speaking, you can trace the entire nation of Islam back to Abraham's son that was born out of wedlock, who would be Ishmael. Talk about that, man. But Goliath was a Palestinian. or he was a Philistine, which now would be the nation of what the Philistines were would now be the nation of Palestine. So
Great.
yeah, Goliath was a big old Palestinian giant. They had a big old Palestinian giant. You know, it may be different if he was still out there today.
Yeah,
But,
dude, yeah, for real. He might be putting in some work over there, dude.
Yeah, Game of Thrones style.
Dude, I'm telling you, they need to release the Goliath, bro. They're holding
Yeah,
him
bro,
back till the main
y'all got
front, the
Goliath
main
at?
attack.
They're too
All
worried
right,
about
well,
sending
before
out
we get
pagers.
ourselves pulled off of every single fucking thing, we could probably wrap it up there. But I think this was a pretty good episode. I don't think I really it may have gotten a little tangential, but I don't think it was very far off from the topic at all. You know what I'm saying? Let me do this and make sure I'm not cutting out. Yeah, like I said, tangential, but I don't think we got very far off from topic. I think it is still, and I think we banged it out, dude. So yeah, Ben, you know, I brought this up in the episode that didn't get posted, but your views on the Bible are a lot less cartoony than I would like them to be. So from now on, I just want you to be really, really stereotypical Southern, like Southern Christian guy. Oh shit! Oh, is this in the recording? Oh, I forgot. I thought this was a back. No, but seriously, that's really why I like having you on, man, because a lot of people, myself included, when you think of like, oh, the Christians, they think this, you know, and then you hear it and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, no, I see where you're coming from. I mean, that actually makes a lot of sense. So I like having these conversations with you a lot, man. Do you have anything else to add before we bounce out of here?
Oh, no, bro, not really. Just I will talk on this a little bit right before we get out. Is like theologically speaking, dude, is like I like to spend time in the theological realm because that's one of the at the base of who we are, man. Outside of science, that's the only thing we have to read back on historically to find anything that's in writing that goes back that far, that explains things further than that. And it's also great historical reference when you're talking about like the Middle East or where we came from. I think it's, if you're a Christian or not, I think it's worth reading.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Bible.
it's the best we got, man. We know there's been however many book burnings. We know the lizard people hide information, blah, 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 blah. But until you lay something else on me, man, that's what the fuck we got to go for. And it's not everything that's in the Bible is a lie. They found Troy, you know? I mean, just right there. They assumed Troy was a fake place, and then they found it. So, and you know, actually, the guy who found Troy, he was actually incorrect. I mean, then they kept digging down a few more layers, and then they found Troy. And you know, but anyways, I just thought that was an interesting tidbit. We're gonna go on another fucking tangent here as we're trying to slip on out of here. But yeah. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I know we've been pretty inconsistent in our uploads lately, and again, we have a lot going on, man. Ben, I know he doesn't like to talk about his personal life too much, but he's got a lot on his plate right now. I've just got my schoolwork, kids, typical shit, you know. They got a lot to carry already.
Yeah.
But we're trying, man. We're trying.
I got a kid on the way, due any day now, and I bought a new house.
I need to add the fucking woo.
Yeah. And I bought a new house, so I'll be moving here soon. So definitely a lot going on. So
yeah, dude. I mean, those are a lot of stressful things piled on at once. So please give us a little break. We're going to be back. I want to set up a schedule where we're a little bit ahead in recordings. Maybe we can set back some time and do a couple episodes before we get to post it. And I would really like to do this consistently and be here for you guys. You know, life's hard and things don't always work out. But you know what? Please do us a favor. Come back every now and then. Try to think of your boys. Go check out the YouTube channel. And if we haven't uploaded, just go watch an old video again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Don't you want to see these pretty faces a little bit more? So be it. But I think on that note, we can go ahead and wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you coming and listening to us talk about the flat earth, the hollow earth, and all the in-between earths and everything like that, and just how lucky we got. And do us a favor, keep an open mind, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.